in the 3-1, and that's whacked into left field for a base hit. Tying run will score. On his way around third is Gallagher. Throw to the plate is not in time, and the Hoppers lead 4-3.
The crack of the bat never sounds sweeter than when you're watching a game on a summer afternoon, cheering on the home team. But in the 1900s, the game was different. There were no night games. The jerseys were made of wool. It usually took 3 balls and 1 umpire to have a game. Pitchers could use a spitball with tobacco juice. The gloves had no webs, and the strike zone was from the shoulders to the knees. The minor league teams were owned by the fans who could buy stock in them. And travel was done by train.
Dr. Frank H. Bassett from Rochester, Kentucky, came here to work in his brother's dry goods store. And he said, I'm going to find and marry the richest girl in town and live on Easy Street the rest of the way. And darned if he didn't do it. He married Mamie Thompson, whose father was the owner of a very successful retail hardware store. And as the teams played one another, from Hopkinsville to Henderson to Owensboro to Cairo, they were all brought together by the railroad.
On February 3rd, the Kentucky-Illinois-Tennessee League was founded. Games were only played during the day and never on Sundays. The players wouldn't always show up, and men close to the team's managers would sit in on occasion, including Frank Bassett, who played for the Hopkinsville team in many games in the first season.
The Kitty League was not very professional, especially in its first season in 1903. They kept no official statistics, so no one knew who the batting champion was or who won the most games. It was just kind of a haphazard type thing. It was more an amateur league than anything else. And of course, players would disagree with an umpire's ruling, and they would just throw up their hands and say, well, we're leaving the field. And they would just walk up and leave. So the umpire would have to forfeit the game to the opposing team.
Charles Gabby Street was catcher for the Hopkinsville team in 1903.
And Dr. Bassett personally recruited him to play on the 1903 Mogul, later Hopper team. And he left here and went on to the Washington Senators. And oh, we love the story about Gabby Street being in a Washington bar one night when someone challenged him to catch a ball thrown out of the Washington Monument. And lo and behold, it was done. That feat, the fact of it, never died. And it was passed on from generation to generation.
Street continued to play and manage in the majors for the St. Louis Cardinals, during which time they won 2 pennants and the 1931 World Series. His influence stretched even farther when his career led him to become a color commentator for the St. Louis Cardinals and the St. Louis Browns radio broadcast. Alongside him was a young Harry Carey.